close the door when the walls cave.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Gulfstream Park West Handicapping Show. Ron Nicoletti, along with Acacia Courtney. Acacia, day two, and boy, the weather has just been spectacular the last couple of days here in South Florida.
Yeah, it really has. We've really lucked out. We have 10 races on the card for you again today. Just a reminder, simulcast and all amenities are available over at Gulfstream Park. Well, we're here for the Gulfstream Park West meet, but really excited about all the good racing we have to show you today.
Yeah, and we got a fast main track and a firm turf course. And just before we look at the major wagering menu, want to let everybody know, boy, watching the races yesterday, it looked like speed was pretty good on the main track. So just something you might want to pay attention to, throughout the day. See if it's still doing that. Maybe it helps your handicapping and helps you with the wagering menu we're going to talk about right now. We're starting today race number one with our first of two pick fives, and you'll see there it's a 50-cent wager in case you'll have a ticket in just a couple of moments. Now, the Rolling Super High Five today, Acacia, starts in race number 3.
It does, and that's a race with 7 horses or more, so you have to wait till race number 3 for that to start. A $1 Rolling Super High Five wager. Don't forget about that. That one gets bet pretty well.
Yeah, and they nailed the Rainbow Six on opening day, and a pretty nice payoff of $8,000, and we're going to start anew this afternoon. So it's a 20-cent wager, and if you were right yesterday, I had 4 out of the 6, and some people, it doesn't cost much to have 6 out of 6, and someone got $8,000 for it. So a great wager, and only 20 cents, and we're going to end the day with your final pick 5 ticket.
Yeah, hitting that Rainbow Six, not a bad way to start off the meet, but if you miss out on the Rainbow Six, you have the late pick 5 as well, 50-cent wager, and again, I'll have a ticket for that.
Well, let's get into the action now. Race number 1, 1 mile and 70 yards. These are claimers, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 races in life. $6,250 is the claimant tag, and we do have one scratch in here, number 5, Topia, and we'll give you the scratches as we have him here early in the morning. Then we'll turn it over to Chris Griffith, our new track announcer here at Gulfstream Park West, and he'll update you on all the stuff you need to. So let's go right to your early pick 5 ticket.
Give you a look at my ticket. No single for me today because I found that the first couple races there actually were a few single potentials, and to me the one that looks like probably going to be the most singleable is in race number 4 with the 4-horse Ranger in Paradise, who's looking for his 3rd win in a row. You see, I actually went 3 deep in there because I think he should be the one to win, but if I'm trying to get a little bit of a payoff on my multi-race wagers, I included a couple other horses that might be ignored in the betting in there, and I still think have a decent shot. $48 for me today, still very affordable. Again, if you can find a single and pare it down, you can always do that to keep it even less expensive.
Well, I have a big smile on my face because I'm looking at race number 5. That's where my single is today.
Okay.
And of course, you have 4 selections in there. We do this all the time, and it's just something that we laugh at each day. You started with the number 2 in here, Legacy Dancer, and I can certainly understand that. I went, we have our exacta flip-flop, but I think we got the right 2.
Mm-hmm. I think this is the right 2. If you remember, I went 2 deep in this opening race here, and a Legacy Dancer probably going to take the most of the money with the number 1 Pasador. Well beaten last time out, but that was against $16,000 condition claimers. This horse, he's taking a big class drop here today to the 6250 level. Been working very steadily at Gulfstream Park as well. Jenna Antonucci, the trainer, and I just think if you go back to where he broke his maiden and you look at the kind of ability that this horse has, I think he's going to be in the right spot today just with that class drop.
And this first race, 1 mile and 70 yards here at Gulfstream Park West. That is around 2 turns, so mile 70 yards, not a distance we run over at Gulfstream Park. So just be aware of that. And I went, like I said, with the 1 Pasador, stretching out to that distance I was just telling you about, departing from the rail again after breaking slowly, finishing 6th against this competition. But that was a 1-turn mile across town. Saffy Joseph Jr. has Tyler Gaffleone handling the added distance, and I think that helps this horse today.
The extra distance certainly looks appealing for this one, considering that he broke his maiden at a mile and a 16th over at Gulfstream Park. So maybe that little extra real estate will help.
We both used the 3 in there, Magno Ejemplo in our ticket.
And this one was not beaten too badly last time in his first start against winners, about 3.5 lengths. Broke his maiden very impressively, 2-back, won by 5 lengths that day. Lionel Reyes stays aboard.
Well, let's go to race number 2, and this one is a 6-furlong maiden special weight event for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, and it's a really nice 6-horse field in here, and a couple of different ways to go in there. Both you and I did go with the number 2 Whistle.
Yeah, it's the number 6 Dreamy Art is actually even money on the morning
I don't
line.
get that.
Yeah, I guess you have a horse with a little bit more experience versus a first-time starter. We both opted for the first-time starter in this spot. And number 2, Whistle, one of 2 for Marty Wolfson in here. Actually, he also has the 5 Curlin's Image. Whistle just really nice on the work tab, getting ready for her debut. A 3-year-old by Hold Me Back. Had 6 siblings make it to the racetrack. 5 of those were dirt sprint winners. Lots of dirt sprint pedigree in here. I think that she's certainly in the right spot for her debut.
Yeah, she's a half-sister to a Grade 2 stakes place horse called Scotland. As you mentioned, debuting for Marty Wolfson. You're getting Tyler Gaffleone. And I really like the workout pattern, and that's actually why I went there. I mean, I can understand the favorite being number 6, Dreamy Art, as you mentioned on that past experience. Now, the horse you went in second was Dreamy Art.
Yeah, Dreamy Art has had 5 starts so far. Gilberto Zerpa is the trainer. I want to give you a trainer stat on Gilberto Zerpa. In the past 5 years with maiden special weight on the dirt, 9 for 38, 24% win, 42% of the time in the money, and a positive ROI of 270. So some strong numbers there. That being said, this horse was bumped to the start a bit last time in her first start for Gilberto Zerpa, beaten about 6 lengths to be second. Again, she's had 5 starts. She hasn't been able to get the job done yet, as Emisel Jaramillo aboard today and working nicely at Gulfstream Park West. So a lot to like. I think she's going to be a short price, and that's what I don't like.
Well, number 5, Curlin's Image, as you mentioned, the other one from Marty Wolfson, the daughter of Curlin, is trained sharply in preparation for that first start. She finished 4th in her 6.5 furlong career debut, a race that produced a couple of next out winners from 3 starters. So coming out of a pretty good race, and if there's any positive upside here, you know the old adage of the longer price of the young couple entry. Right now, I don't know which one that's going to be. When the smoke clears, something you got to pay aware of. So I think we have the logical 3 on our ticket here.
And as you said, a very nice 6-horse field, and you can make an argument for almost anyone in here. But for my mind, it's going to be a first-time starter.
Let's go to race number 3 this afternoon. We're going on the turf. The turf course is listed as firm, and this one is 7 1/2 furlongs. These are maiden claimers, 2-year-olds, $25,000, and we do have a scratching here of number 8. Here Comes Trouble, and I went, and you did too, with the number 4, Get a Valentine, who's debuting locally after ending his turf campaign across town. I want to go back and show you this horse. He finished 3rd in this race, but boy, he was wide throughout. I'm going to pick it up at the top of the stretch here. You know, you're going to see him coming from home. He was just 6 wide all the way around. He is the number 12 this afternoon. I just thought he ran well. He was, he was pretty hidden between horses, but I wanted to show you. I just thought he ran the best, and you see him, he's right there coming. He keeps coming down the line, and he doesn't get beat that badly. And he was, if you go back and have time to go to the race recalls, you see this horse was, taking the overland route most of the way around.
And he was drawn wide that day, actually bumped up to second through disqualification of the second-place finisher, Sir Sebastian. So there's a lot of excuses in that spot there. The dam was a multiple graded stakes winner, 7-time turf winner, so obviously he looks like he's ready to be in the right spot to get that win. You can give some excuses last time out.
Yeah, we both went with the number 3 in second, Yonosi.
I don't know, from Efren Losa Jr. Again, we talk about Efren Losa Jr. and his numbers with first-time starters. Edgar Zayas in the saddle.
Yeah, maiden claimers, he's like over 30% with maybe claimers making their debut. And if you were here yesterday or watching our through simulcast land, you see his first-time starters or horses that have run take money, and deservedly so. So just look like a logical one. Now, you went to the 6-horse in 3rd, and that's Blue Xanadu.
Well, this one is coming over from a race in Saratoga. It's Nick Juarez in the saddle, and a rather big drop in class as well. It's running against $50,000 maidens and trying the turf for the first time. So we'll see if all those things can come together.
Yeah, and I just threw in the 10 Science to win his debuting locally. Stalked, finished 4th last time out. I think he can be on the trifecta or superfecta ticket in here, and that is race number 3, and that is on the turf. And as we mentioned, the turf course is firm. Race number 4, we're going back to a fast main track. 6 furlongs, 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life or 3-year-olds. The claiming level is 30 down to $25,000, and we got a big favorite in here of number 4, Ranger in Paradise.
Well, this is the one that I said I considered singling in here, and I think will definitely be the one to beat and take most of the money in this spot. As I mentioned, going for that 3rd start in a row, has some early speed as well. And what we were talking about on the main track, it looks like that speed has been playing favorably. It was very game last time out, won by 2 lengths at this level, and won against 16,000 optional claimers prior to that. I think he's coming in great form.
Yeah, I want to go back and show you his performance. What I liked, we're going to pick it up when this horse is, turning for home in here. It was the number 6 this afternoon. And now he was pretty much hounded here, and it was like that. And if you listen to track announcer Pete Aiello, he's saying all of a sudden he finds that other gear. He switches the leads and just goes off and draws it off to win by a couple of lengths. I just thought it was a game performance against this level of competition. Certainly looks like the one to beat, but you're going to have to take that short price in here. But I'm in agreement with you. It's a horse that you could think of singling on that early pick 5 ticket.
Absolutely, and Edgar Zayas seems to fit him really well. All of these horses' wins have come with Zayas in the saddle, so sometimes that chemistry just really works out well. Now, I went with one of our old favorites, the number 1 Little Meatball.
It's actually what she calls me most of the time.
No, he's lying. He's still lying about that. But Little Meatball, this one has Emisel Jaramillo in the saddle, Dave Brady, the trainer, and he was well beaten last time out. It was kind of empty on the turf, so he's going back over to the dirt now. Does have a win here right here over the Gulfstream Park West track, and I just think that he's a horse that you have to kind of respect.
There's an angle I like in here. If you listen to me all the time, it was with the 6Bs. That's probably the only 4-time winner in the field. 14 races, 4 wins, a second 2/3. Going back to the main track after returning from about almost a 4-month layoff in that race to finish 5th. It was a 25 condition claimer, going 5 furlongs on the turf. I mean, just look at this horse's past performance. This son of First Dude certainly does his best running on the dirt, and I like that angle of being doing something that no one else in the race has done, and that's win 4 times.
Absolutely, and he's now second off of about a 4-month layoff as well. I also used, and you did too, the number 2 Express Jet, who was third in his last 2, the one prior to that behind Ranger in Paradise, but he's always one that finishes pretty solidly.
Yeah, he's one you got to have on your ticket there, and I just threw the 5 in third, and that's Newcomb. We'll talk about that horse a little later on, but I only would go 3 deep if I would, doing the races here. And like you, maybe singling Ranger in Paradise. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll show you my Rainbow 6 ticket for Sunday afternoon.
Next January, 12 horses, $1 million buy-in for a $12 million purse. It is the world's richest race. It is the Pegasus World Cup.
Welcome back to Gulfstream Park West, and Acacia and Ron here, and we're going to take a look at the 5th race, which is 7.5 furlongs on the turf. These are claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 3 races in life, or 3-year-olds. They're going to run for an $8,000 tag. 2 scratches in here. Number 9, Vineyard Nina, and also number 11, Infiltrata, will be declared out of this race. And I want to show you my Rainbow 6 ticket this afternoon. And, I sort of played around here, and as I mentioned, we were joking before. I'm going to single Kokomo in this race here. This one going to the Antonio Sano barn. Then you see 2 deep, 3, 4, 2, and 4 for a $38.40 ticket. And you don't have me to tell you that number 5 is the key to my day here, and that is Kokomo.
Well, normally when you joke about me putting 4 horses when you single, we're just in total disagreement.
Right.
I have Kokomo on top in here, so at least we got that. At least we got that the same here. Yeah. So number 5, Kokomo, is on top for me as well in here. Antonio Sano, the trainer, and I just think that this horse looks like she's coming in very good form. Only beaten by 3/4 of a length last time before being claimed and moving over to the Sano barn.
And Sano does a real good job with first off the claim. He's over 30%. He's got Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle this afternoon. So of all the horses today, then I'm trying to put the ticket together where it's affordable. I'm going to take my shot with the number 5, Kokomo. Now we both used the number 10, Love Years, and as you can see, our selections up there, we're basically in agreement. agreement. So I can understand you going 4 deep. I mean, I got taking that chance, but 10 Love Years has a big shot.
Absolutely. Well, Love Years is trying to get out of that second gear. Even when she was declared the winner, she actually technically crossed the wire second. She was bumped 3 starts back, and through disqualification was bumped up to be a winner. Then she was second by a neck and second by a length and 3/4 in her next 2 starts. So she's trying to get out of finishing second there. Gilberto Zerpa, the trainer, Edgar Zayas in the saddle. And she's one that always you can expect to run solidly. She's just got to win and not finish second.
Well, thanks. You made a better case for number 5, Kokomo, for me with the 10. Now, here's the horse I'm really afraid of, and that is the 6, Moonlight Salsa. A previous winner on this course at this distance was a $16,000 two-lifetime claimer last October when shipping in from Gulfstream Park to this surface, won that race, was a solid third against $10,000 condition claimers when returning from about a 2-month layoff last time out. So there is reason to believe that this horse made the trip over last time and performed very well, and maybe it's as simple as that. This horse, this is the one I'm really afraid of in here because of that angle and showing the the kindness for this course.
And she's 12-1 on the morning line, so you may get some sort of price on her as well. The last time that she made a trip to the winner's circle was actually right here at Gulfstream Park West, so we'll see if that can be a bit of a repeat for her as well. I also used the number 7, Daddy's Pride, who looks like she's going to have some speed and is looking for 2 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm going with the 5, but I could understand totally if you stretch out in that particular race. But Kokomo is going to be my single. Now, race number 6 this afternoon is 5 1/2 furlong sprint, maiden claimer, 2-year-olds. They run for a $12,500 tag, and we do have one jockey change to report in here, and it comes on the number 9 horse, and that's Candy Carlos, make the rider MSCL Jaramillo. And this being race number 6 with a 10-race card could only mean one thing. Acacia has a late pick 5 ticket.
Time for the late pick 5, and I thought there were a few more options for a single in the earlier half of the card versus in the later half. So $54 for me. Again, wasn't able to single. Actually, didn't even really consider any race singling in these later 5. You singled in race 5 and went a bit deeper in the rest of the card in here. So 2 deep in this opener with the 2 Italian Lemonade and that 9 Candy Carlos.
Yeah, well, let's start it off with Candy Carlos. Not for any reason, because that's where I started my analysis. A well-traveled son of Candy Ride, debuting locally, finishing third, 5 furlongs in the slop. That was at Indiana Grand. Then comes back and follows that with another third-place finish on the synthetic surface at Arlington Park. Wesley Waters, the trainer. MSCL Jaramillo, as I mentioned, that's the jockey change, is going to ride this horse as well-traveled, but looking for a place to win, trying every different surface and every different state. So I can understand, you going too deep here and also using Lemonade.
Yeah, well, let's see if this is going to be the magic combination for Candy Carlos. That is sloppy track and the poly track, so let's see if a fast one here at Gulfstream Park West is the key. I went with the first-time starter, the number 2 Italian Lemonade from the barn of Angel M. Rodriguez. Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle. This is a 2-year-old by Dialed In, and I want to give a sire stat on Dialed In. It's not a very big sample. He's a freshman sire, but he's really been very successful so far. This is with 2-year-olds on the dirt in the past 5 years. 10 for 40, 25% win average. Again, just 40 to go in far as sample size, but 10 winners out of that. So he's been very solid. Freshman sire, again, had some stakes winners already. This one looks pretty solid. Lots of Gulfstream Park works on there. 6 siblings to make it to the track. All of them have been winners.
Number 5, Astro Jack, is where I went with my third pick. He's the son of astrology. That's by AP Indy, debuting for Giuseppe Iacidernia, Tamara Consideration. The concern I had about this horse, this guy does a great job here, is the sparse morning workout pattern showing. I was a little concerned about that. I don't know if there's going to be another work and from when we last got our PPs, or if not, but that was my concern with this horse.
That was a concern for me as well. I have him on there for all of those reasons that you mentioned and respect for the connections, but a little bit of a question for that.
Well, that is race number 6, and that starts our final pick 5 of the afternoon. Race number 7 is where we'll have our final pick 4 of the afternoon. So if Acacia and I don't help you out in those first 2 multiple race wagers, we can certainly get you one going here, and that is race number 7, 6 furlongs, maiden claimers, 3-year-olds and up with $10,000 in here. We have a scratch of number 2, Comaseme, and also that the 11 horse blinkers on this afternoon, so the 11 will wear blinkers, scratch the 2. You went with the number 3 horse in here, Whiskey Wizard. We have our exacta flip-flop.
Well, I can certainly understand putting the number 6 Nutty Boy on top. Now, this is a field where a lot of horses are either a couple races off a layoff or maybe just off a layoff. Whiskey Wizard has been off for about 15 months. He's coming in a fresh gelding and dropping in class 1 and 2 in here for Ralph Nix. I would put Nutty Boy on top. It's just that I've been kind of unimpressed by his last 2 starts since coming off that layoff. Now he's third off the layoff. Maybe he's going to improve. He's just that he's disappointed as the favorite in his last 2. So I went with one who maybe is a little bit more of an unknown in here. Again, first-time gelding. Hasn't raced since July of 2015, but had some solid finishes prior to that.
Well, I went with Nutty Boy wearing the blinkers this afternoon. I'm thinking maybe, I'm guessing maybe that's the final piece of the puzzle this afternoon for Nutty Boy. Whiskey Wizard, for all the reasons you mentioned. Dropping down, that's a little bit of the old red flag wavering there. I went with the number 9 in third, and that's 10 Saints, who's dropping to this level of $10,000, going to the main track after showing early interest in fading against better in a pair of route races on the turf. Sandra Silka, very, very limited sampling here, 1 for 3, 33%, of course, with the turf to dirt move. The sampling is small, but this barn has been doing fantastic.
Yeah.
We mentioned her all summer long.
Absolutely. Been very, very hot barn lately. I used the number 10 Savvy Sun in third. This is the other one from Ralph Nix, dropping into Claiming Company from Maiden Special Weight. It's a very big drop in class, but tried the turf last time and I guess just didn't show anything in his debut. So maybe thinking go as low as you can go and see if we can get the win that way.
And just that's where I went 4 deep in that race, using that number 10 in there when I put my Rainbow 6 together. I think that ticket, this race is, you got a lot of horses, you're guessing what might happen here, like especially when coming off that, a 15-month layoff, whatever it is. So race number 8 this afternoon, 7 1/2 furlongs on the turf, an allowance, optional claiming. These are state bred, 3-year-olds and upward. The optional claiming price is $16,000. Jockey change in number 3, make the rider Tyler Gaffleone. Blinkers off the number 5 horse, and scratch number 10, 11, and number 12. And boy, this number 9 horse we're going to talk about right now, Whisper on the Wind, is really a hard-knocking campaigner.
Yes, he is. And Whisper on the Wind, I think if you're looking, maybe if you wanted to single in the later pick 5, this one might be one. I think he's going to be one of my best bets of the day because he loves Gulfstream Park West and he loves the 7.5 distance, more importantly. I've been waiting for him to get back to the 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Last couple starts were 1 mile and a 16th. We're going to go back and show you his most recent race on September 11th. He finished second, beaten about a length and a half. He was the number 3 that day. This was at the 1 mile and a 16th distance. Once again, he was really far back. He had to swing out and come running late. He is that closing type. We've been talking about how speed was favoring on the main track. But again, he's been successful here at Gulfstream Park West. 2 wins and a second. Now you see him swinging out there. He's the number 3, and he had to go wide, and he still managed to finish second when you thought he wasn't going to get there and be able to get a piece of the pie at all. Again, he's back at this 7.5, where he's won 7 times at this distance.
Yeah, and that campaign across town, he won 5 races from 13 starts. He was 10 for 13 in the money. So, this is one of those horses I mentioned. Dane Kibisky's the trainer. Eddie Castro in there. The logical choice in here, as you mentioned, the horse for course play, also likes this 7.5 furlong distance. We are in total agreement with the rest of the horses here. What about the number 2, Galleon Mast?
Well, this one has never won at this distance before, but was second at 1 mile on the turf at Gulfstream Park last time out, beaten just by a neck behind Whisper on the Wind. This was on August 11th. So he's a bit fresher versus Whisper on the Wind. He hasn't raced since August 11th. Edgar Zayas in the saddle this time. David Fox is the trainer, coming out of Allowance Company as well.
Yeah, and he finished in front of him once, then behind him. So he figures to be in there somewhere on the ticket. Now number 7, Fair Prospect, will race with the blinkers off after returning from a 3-month layoff. Went up there, set the pace, finished second as the favorite against 30,000 condition claimers at the distance. Taking those blinkers off this afternoon.
Taking the blinkers off, and does have some early speed as well. Maybe the blinkers just sharpen up a little bit. When they added the blinkers on the first time, that's when he got a win. So maybe taking them off will have the reverse effect.
Well, race number 9 this afternoon is a 6 1/2 furlong claimer. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 races in life, $6,250. And here's a race where I went only 2 deep because I think the logical 2 in my estimation was the 4 Grand Charmer and maybe the 1 Baby Antonella. You did go with the horse I had in third, and that's Dude's Rockin' Lady on top of your ticket.
Well, I looked back and forth between Dudes Rockin' Lady and Grand Chama. I agree with you. Those top 3 horses are going to be the main players in this spot. One of the biggest things about Grand Chama is that she's just 1 for 20. She has 20 races, only 1 win so far. I landed on Dudes Rockin' Lady, who's only had 6 starts. Did win on a sloppy track, so yes, that's going to be a little bit of a question. Did the moisture in the track help her a little bit for her only victory? She was well beaten last time against $10,000 claimers, so she's dropping in class now. And I just thought as to the way the pace scenario might play out in here, I gave her a little bit of the edge just because Grand Chama has had such a hard time getting to the winner's circle.
And the reason I went with Grand Chama, just to be 2 for 3 in the money on this course, 3 races, no wins with the second and the third, but boy, that 1 for 20 certainly, red lights are going off and everything like that. But and the other horse who used in third, I used in second, Baby Antonella. I'm going to try 6.5 furlongs after finishing 4th behind aforementioned Grand Chama, going 7/8 of a mile. That was back on September 1st, and a slow starting 4th, going 6 furlongs last time out. I think she runs well with a timely beginning in here. She's got to get away from the gate in a timely fashion.
Yeah, as long as she breaks sharply, especially breaking from the rail. She was off slowly last time. I think you put a line through that race, you could forgive it.
Yeah, and you'd have to break sharply from the rail, going 6.5 furlongs here. So that one, I went too deep, but as you can hear us talking, probably can go 5 deep if we had the ability to do that and the money to do it, put it that way. Race number 10 this afternoon, 5 furlongs on the turf. Claim is 3 and up. $10,000 the claiming level. Scratch the 11, scratch the number 12 horse in this race. And who'd you put on top? Oh, both of us have God's Greatness on top.
God's Greatness.
I wasn't sure about this race. I wanted, that's why I was shocked.
Either. I looked. This was a tough one for me. I landed on God's Greatness, who tried the turf for first time in the while last time out. Finished a solid second behind next out winner, repeat winner Jive Daddy. Was beaten about 2 3/4 lengths. Gets Jose Alvarez in the saddle today. Still trying to notch that maiden victory. It's now going to be back down slightly to the $10,000 level. I think just now returning to that 5 furlongs on the turf, a little bit easier spot might be the key.
Yeah, and we both, we have our second and third horses flip-flopping here. I did go with the number 6, Zanto, in second, listed as a gelding now in Lisa Lewis barn. It's the son of Gio Ponte, debuting locally, makes his first start since tracking the pace and fading in a strong maiden special weight race at Del Mar. It was last November, but a race that produced 4 next out winners, including a repeat winner called Path of David, who not only won that race, came back and won the $79,000 Eddie Logan in his next start. So it was a pretty good race over there. Here for $10,000. So I don't know what to make of it, but I think it's a horse you have to put on the ticket.
Well, I think so. My big thing was coming off an 11th-month layoff, first time gelding, cutting back in distance, dropping in class, first time
let me write this down.
in Gulfstream Park. It was just like throwing in the kitchen sink for this horse. So I think, you could surprise everybody and win this race for sure. Wouldn't be surprised at all. But just a lot of changes at once in here. Used him on the ticket for those reasons. The number 2, Cav, cut back to this distance last time out and finished third after bumping at the start a little bit at this 5 furlong distance, beaten just under 3 lengths. Dave Casson, the trainer.
Yeah, Dave Casson, Cornelio Velasquez in the saddle this afternoon, so lots of things to like about that. So that is how Akish and I see this Sunday card, and good luck with all your selections. In just a couple of moments, we'll turn it over to our track announcer, Chris Griffith, and we'll see how the day plays out.
Absolutely. I want to remind you that tomorrow, Columbus Day, will be racing as well, so don't forget about that.
And don't forget, Gulfstream Park, all the stuff you need. Go over there. You can bet, watch all the simulcasting, and should be a lot of fun this whole holiday weekend.
Absolutely. Good luck, everyone.
What do I love about horse racing?